Hi everyone, I'm Michelle McLean, your host for Tip Radio, Top Industry Professionals, where we showcase wonderful, inspirational professionals from around the globe, sharing their stories of success and resilience. And we have a wonderful woman today to talk about resilience. She's all the way from North Carolina. She has an incredible story, has dedicated over 3 decades of her life mentoring youth and fostering resilience in countless lives through her holistic approach to well-being. Her mission extends far beyond individual wellness as she seeks to nurture the collective strength of entire communities, empowering them to thrive. She's a global well-being entrepreneur and best-selling author. She was recently selected as Top Resilience Ambassador of the Year for 2025 by TIP, by IAOTP, the International Association of Top Professionals, for her outstanding leadership, dedication, and commitment to the industry. Everyone, please welcome Martie Smith. Well, welcome.
Thank you, Michelle. It's an honor, it's a privilege, it's a pleasure to be here sharing my story that I never thought my voice would be heard. So I'm deeply honored to be here as part of this association.
Well, we are very, very grateful to have you a part of the IOTP family, and you will be celebrated this December at the gala event in Las Vegas. So, apart from many other awards you've achieved in your life, what can you say about your business for our listeners? Tell us a little bit more about you to introduce you to our family.
I'm a Jackie of all trades and I guess mistress of none. I've since I was a little girl, I was told I was a mistake, and I think that was what planted the seeds in me to say, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to figure this out one way or another. I'm going to learn my value. I don't care if my parents don't realize it or whoever, but I'm looking for something. And in that process, I realized that all these things that I had considered, like a curses or a bad life were actually lessons and opportunities for me to grow in resilience. And those were the seeds that were planted along the way. The pandemic hit, and all of a sudden, I didn't want to relive all these traumas I had. I've had 27 surgeries. I'm partly robotic. I have a spine stimulator, so I say I'm I'm definitely not the average person. But because of that, all those transformations and all those changes in me, I saw that what God had done was line me up with a whole bunch of opportunities to learn from that experience. And the pandemic hit, shut down. I didn't want to go back to being in a wheelchair. I've had 27 surgeries. I've been given a lot of opportunities to reinvent myself. And I had a transformation. I lost 70 pounds, 70 inches. And in that process, I started changing the mindset. Started taking empowering courses, and I was like, wow, okay, let me go back and look at my life. I signed up for a book camp. The next thing I know I'm writing down, I had my title, Resilience Nourishes the Soul. I'm an avid photographer, so I already had my book cover. And I was like, this could work. Instead of me not having a job, I could probably do something. So I was very, very cocky, very confident. And I said, okay, let me write the book. And then I was like, wow, this is like a healing process. This is a catharsis. And I started realizing it wasn't just a book. It was my ability to express myself and share with the world what I had gotten as tools of training for resilience. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is miraculous. This is not anything I ever imagined, but it's pretty cool. And that's what I share with the world now.
I mean, that's truly, truly inspirational. And to hear your story, how this all unfolded for you. What advice would you give to any professional or anyone in your industry who wants to achieve what you've done?
First of all, think about how you are with you. Don't worry about the outside world. Don't worry about other people's opinions. What is your opinion of you? Do introspection. Figure out what your passion, your purpose, and your mission is in life. We all get dealt different cards. We all have different stories, but most of us want to be recognized, acknowledged, loved, and heard. So I'm glad that I was born in Colombia, South America, and I moved 49 times in my lifetime, but I think that was God teaching me adaptability, flexibility, and also learning about humanity. Because no matter what language, no matter where I was, the universal language was a smile and a hug. And to me, that was like, wow, okay, I can work with this. I can do it somehow or another. Granted, I wasn't fully aware of everything that I had been given until the pandemic. And then I went back and I went, oh, this is why did I complicate life so much? Why did I not see the potential in me? And I was always surrounded by people that were very inspirational, and they would tell me you can this and you can that, and I would look at them like, you have no clue what I've suffered. And, the victimization, the I can't do anything, I don't my life has been terrible. No, those people were very right, and now I swallow my words and say, wow, I didn't see that coming either. But I'm so grateful that those people were placed along my path of journey, because that's what we need. We need to surround ourselves with that non-toxic environment, that we grab each other under the wings and pull each other together to make this world better, to change the very vicious cycles of life, and all the things that we keep repeating because we don't see that we're erroneous in feeling that way. So it's very nice. It's very nice and refreshing. For a 65-year-old, it's very cool.
Oh my gosh, you are not 65. That's incredible.
If you knew me 10 years ago, you'd be like, "Woo, bless her heart. She's not gonna make it." But I'm just that joy that you see in me is the actualization that, wow, I am a miracle. I am unique. I am worth something, and everybody else is too. And just because I've won all these awards and recognition, that doesn't make it where nobody else can do it. I wasn't gifted. I was just given the opportunity to see and realize that I had been given all these talents and treasures I didn't even know I had. So.
It's truly inspirational, just to see your joy and what you've shared with the world and your resilience. It's just truly inspirational. So, how would you suggest to anybody who has obstacles in their life? I mean, tell us a little bit about how your work, your wellness work works.
Well, basically, people come to me and ask me, how do I become resilient? I don't know what resilience is. I didn't, honestly, I didn't know I was resilient. And that's the discovery that made it all wonderful for me to explain it to people. But the first thing is how do you react to adversity? Because we're the ones that have that control. We're the ones that can take a look at adversity and say, "Ooh, I don't want to deal with it. Ooh, something's difficult. Let me figure it out. Let me get help." So it's always examine what's facing you, but don't forget the big picture. Don't forget all the things that brought you to the present time. You've survived, you surpassed, you overcame, you've learned things in the past. Now use all that to bring forward you getting ahead to your next goal. Don't let that little speed bump, I call them speed bumps, stop you. Just find another way, find another angle. And I think photography helps me see that resilience is just that. Change your perspective, change the way you look at things, and find the perfect shot, the perfect opportunity to get past that thing that you don't see because you're, you know, confused about all the mess, and you're only focused on the thing that's happening instead of all the big picture of you learning life.
And what would you say if you had to think about the biggest obstacle in your life? What would that be?
The biggest obstacle was me not believing in myself, not loving myself, not really thinking that I was worth anything. And that was what held me back all this time. In a way, I was given the momentum to start realizing it, but every time I would lose a job, I've been I was an environmental control systems mechanic in the Air Force, so I'm a veteran. And I was like, all right, I'm going to be a pilot one day. I got hurt. It didn't happen. Then I became a radiation therapist treating cancer patients. That was a beautiful career, but I didn't get to live it because I got re-injured. But those people, when I was treating those cancer patients, those children were teaching me about life. So it was like, okay, I didn't get to practice it, but I learned so much. And fast forward, my mom had breast cancer, and guess who ended up helping take care of her? I was blessed to be able to heal all these things that were in the past, and I was able to see her through the cancer. So you never know what you're looking at until after the fact, but that's why we need to be very aware of how we react and do. So it's pretty intense and insightful to look at that way instead of, I can't deal with life.
Well, you've given me a lot to think about today, and I'm sure our listeners as well.
Thank you.
Throughout your illustrious career, you've won numerous awards. You've been on magazines, featured in television, um, and you were on the billboard recently in Las Vegas for IAOTP. So, congratulations. That's incredibly impressive indeed. What would
Thank
you
you.
say is the highlight of your career?
The highlight is yes, the awards are wonderful and I acknowledge that people have recognized it, but the best part is someone coming up to me and saying, "Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story and making me feel different about my life." And that's priceless. That's the spiritual lottery I've always wanted to win, and it's like the coolest thing in the world because you've touched someone's heart, you've touched someone's life, and they see things in a different way. Had I had that when I was younger, I probably wouldn't be doing anything I'm doing now, but it would have been good to hear that from someone as well. So it's cool.
So, with all the work that you do, and obviously every day dealing with people and their situations, what do you do for fun?
Oh, I got all kinds of goodies. I actually have a caregiving job that takes care of handicapped people. And it's a reminder because I was in a wheelchair, and so I have a soft heart for people that are challenged because they taught me how to find joy in the things that we don't find joyful because we take everything for granted kind of thing. And I realized that those people are super special, and they're the ones that teach you what's important in life. They're the ones that see the value of everything that matters in us. Another thing, I teach Sunday school to children, or I taught for 35 years. Lately, I've been slowing down because of all the hubbub of all my books, but that the kids, in fact, I started a new child series of kids books to share resilience from the get-go so that they come strong from, growing up in the adverse world, and maybe they can do better in the future. So it's awesome.
That's so lovely. I love working with children because seeing the world through their eyes is just exceptional, right?
They don't corrupt, they don't contaminate, they're pure. You see them in the playground playing, they get into a little scuffle, the next thing you know it, they're forgiving. If we could learn from that, we wouldn't be in the situation we find ourselves in this world. But it's just that's it. Go back to basics, go back to life as a thriving necessity for all of us to share and cherish what we were given.
When you said you were in a wheelchair, I'm just really inquisitive to know how did you rise above that, scenario in your life? What makes you not being in a wheelchair anymore?
Well, in the beginning, it wasn't easy, and I was severely depressed. I had a psychiatrist and major medications, but I had a reckoning with my faith, and I saw the movie The Passion, and something stirred in me that, okay, I've been taking a lot of things for granted. I'm still alive, even though I'm in a wheelchair. I still have all my wits. I started counting my blessings, and then it was like, I got nothing to complain about. There's people out there without limbs that are running marathons. What is wrong with you, Marty? Get a grip of what you're really realizing. And it's humbling when you see it that way and you're like, okay, all right, all right. tone it down. You're not a victim. You just made yourself a victim. And I started seeing and realizing that all these blessings were for a purpose, for a reason to share with the world. So
Well, it's been so inspirational speaking with you today, and
thank you.
we look forward to celebrating you
Me
at
too.
the honor event in Las Vegas very soon.
Uh-huh.
Tell us a little bit, just for our listeners and for all our members, how they get hold of you if they'd like to reach you.
I'm all over the map on social media. I have my website, martiemsmith.com, and you can access all the books. I'm on my 10th book. Some of them are anthologies and some of their self-published books, but it's amazing the amount of content that God has given me and inspired me to share with the world. So I just can't stop. I do feel unstoppable and just keep going until I get to my destination and say, I did a good job. I did okay considering all the mess.
Well, Marty, you've done a phenomenal job. We're so proud of you, and we look
I
forward to
appreciate it.
seeing you soon again.
Thank you. God bless. Take care, everyone.